So in my non-spoiler review of Joker Folie Deux, see Todd Phillips' I can rhyme too.
Move this man!
Sorry, I won't do that again. You can actually find a link to my non-spoiler review in the description just in case you want to check that out before you hear my spoilerific thoughts. If you've seen the movie by now, these are probably some of the points of the movie that you also want to talk to somebody about, and I'm the guy that you can come and talk to. So let's start with Harley Quinn and her character actually getting into Arkham Asylum. You're told by Harley Quinn herself, she's a patient here, she burned down her parents' house, and her mother or father, I can't remember, put her in Arkham Asylum.
Why the fuck you lying?
Joker's lawyer, who's trying to prep him for this trial that he's going to be going through in this movie, she essentially tells Arthur Fleck Harley Quinn is rich, she did not burn down her house, her parents are alive and doing well, and that she had decided to put herself in Arkham Asylum. Here's the issue with that, Todd. Even if she decided to check herself into Arkham Asylum, the odds of her actually running into Arthur Fleck, into the Joker, are absolutely, like, they're ridiculous. Let me tell you how ridiculous it is. One of the guards in the wing that Joker is in says to himself, Arthur's been on good behavior. I also want to get over there and see something or someone in that wing of the asylum. Therefore, I'm going to bring over Arthur Fleck a six-time really killer over to this wing and just have him join the music class. How does that make sense? And you can say, oh, he's in a mental institution. He's on trial for killing 5 people. That's not someone who you just move about the asylum and have them join the music class. You have to invent very convenient ways to get Arthur into the same place as Harley Quinn. It makes zero sense. There's a 0% chance that Harley ever actually meets Arthur with her plot to just put herself into an asylum. On top of that, I mentioned Arthur's lawyer. Once they get to the trial, Harley Quinn, who has checked herself out of Arkham Asylum, starts to join the trial. And at one point, Arthur pushes aside a piece of paper and says, can you have Harley moved up? Can you get her a better seat? If I'm Joker's lawyer, and I know Harley Quinn is a person who is obsessed with the Joker, the last thing I'm doing is allowing her to continue to join this trial. I'm telling the bailiff, I'm telling the judge, I'm telling the prosecutors, I'm telling whoever I need to tell. This woman is actually out for her own gain with my client, and I'd rather her not be in the courtroom with us. Every time she's in the courtroom with us, he's distracted. As a lawyer, why wouldn't you say that? You don't even have to tell Arthur that. You can just do that silently. For the life of me, I could not understand why the lawyer just allowed this to continue up until the point where she got fired by Arthur. Another logical leap that happens with Harley Quinn and Arthur is the asylum escape. At one point, Arthur is allowed to watch movies. He sits next to Harley and she says, let's get out of here. He's like, no, I want to watch the movie. And she gets up and she starts a fire, and then they try to escape. And the guards in the media see them try to escape. Here's the issue. Harley is never arrested. Harley, who has checked herself in, is soon after allowed to check herself out, even after committing this criminal act of trying to escape with Arthur Fleck. Arthur, because he did this, is put into the hole. And if you're familiar with like jail documentaries or just jail movie stories or just jail itself.
I'm sorry, sir.
All right, mister.
Good luck to you. I apologize.
All right, guys.
All right, man. You saved out there?
You can't keep turning your head against evil.
Stay out of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You know what the hole is. You're not allowed to see anybody. He's been accused of killing 5 people.
5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times.
Which he is actively on trial for. The guards are allowing visitors in the hole. She's allowed to go into his cell with him and have sex. Arthur Fleck is allowed to have sex in the hole. In her hole. And the guards just allow this because why? Later on in the movie, she actually says, hey, I'm pregnant. When he tries to get a little bit of like distance or starts to question a little bit, she pulls the I'm pregnant card. And at first you might have thought that him having sex with her was, you know, a figment of his imagination. But when she pulls the I'm pregnant card, you quickly realize, no, that actually happened. She was allowed to have sex with this man in the hole. In Arkham, a 5 times.
5 times, 5
Killer, accused, if you will. I was riding with the movie for a while. I was just waiting for it to make its big move, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and why I felt like that was the key to me being like, oh, no, this is stupid. Right? So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get to that, I want to talk about Arthur being allowed to represent himself in the court of law after firing his lawyer. The judge who essentially allows Arthur to become his Joker persona in the courtroom. He says to Arthur at one point, I'm allowing you to wear whatever you want, whatever makes you feel comfortable. But don't turn my courtroom into a clown show, into a circus. You're talking to the person dressed in clown makeup, and you're telling them not to turn your courtroom into a circus.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You allow him to assume this persona and then essentially make a mockery of the courtroom. This is not a cartoon. This is not Killer Croc or Mr. Freeze, who have no choice but to be in their like apparatuses or in their, crocodile skin. This is the Joker. This is Arthur Fleck. This is a very grounded version of who the Joker would be. And you allowed him to wear his clown makeup in the courtroom? But here's one positive thing I'll say about that segment of the movie. The person who played Puddles was brilliant. Probably the best scene of the movie is Joker's cross-examination of Puddles. I also want to talk about the musical aspect of the movie. The music I thought was actually well produced. There's a few numbers here that I thought are actually really entertaining, even though I'm confused and trying to figure out why it matters at all. Where did the musical part of Joker's personality, something that we would have learned about, come into play? It's just there. Todd Phillips just drops it in there. It's like I needed something to add some garnish, if you will, to add to this movie that I have no real plot for. I enjoyed all the musical numbers because I enjoyed how well they were produced, how well they were shot. I enjoyed the performances of Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix. I thought both of them really committed to this aspect of the movie, the musical part. It's a shame though that it really stopped the movie every time it came up and really added nothing to it. Now let's get to that final part of the movie that I've been talking about. The explosion in the courtroom. When Joker is about to be sentenced, he's guilty. He's going to jail for the rest of his natural life. That explosion, the moment it happened, I was like, that's not this movie. That's not the movie that I've been watching. It felt like a different movie entirely. And even the way that the sequence went when all the dust is settled and you see Harvey Dent have half of his face scarred, alluding to Two-Face, which, is a really cool nod. As a matter of fact, I did find it interesting that Harvey Dent is trying a case for a person who's claiming to have multiple personalities because of, he's Two-Face. He's the guy with the multiple personalities.
Harvey, no.
It would have been fun to see that kind of come out, Big Bad Harv kind of thing be sprinkled in there. I know the movie's not about him, but it would have been cool. But when that explosion happens and he escapes and some of his Joker followers pick him up and put him in the car and they're driving through traffic. You know what I was thinking about? Where have I seen this before? Where did I see a bunch of people who are fans of Arthur Fleck cause chaos in the streets? Oh, the first one. I've seen this before. It may play out differently, but I'm not moved by this. This isn't the movie that I was watching, The Escape of Arthur Fleck. Like, it was so strange, right? But at the same time, I was rolling with it. There's still some more movie left. Eventually, Joker decides to escape from them and run back to the Joker steps, which was referenced by Harley earlier in the movie. He meets her at the top and he's essentially like, hey, we can escape. We can get out of here. And she's like, nah, I don't want to escape. You ruined the fantasy. That's what they've been showing throughout the film, that she was just attracted to this Joker persona, but not necessarily Arthur Fleck. So I got it. But then she just leaves him on the steps and he gets arrested. After Arthur gets arrested and the movie's essentially ending, Arthur is killed. He's stabbed by another inmate who wants to tell him a joke after one of the guards says, you have a visitor, which I'm still not sure if that was intentional by the guard, whether the guard set him up to be killed or whether that's just a coincidence that particular inmate went to go stab him. You kind of see blurred in the background this fake Joker wannabe cutting his face, but you're also zooming into Arthur Fleck's face, and I'm like, okay, so where do you want me to look, Todd? Arthur's dying face, or do you want me to look at the kid in the background cutting his face? Because I can't do both. Like we need to figure it out. But the reason why I bring this up is if anybody was going to kill him, it should have been Harley Quinn. And it would have been much more symbolic and much more impactful if she would have been the one who killed him, because Arthur killed the Joker. He said the Joker doesn't exist. Harley should have taken revenge on the fact that she didn't have her fantasy fulfilled and killed Arthur right on those steps. She had a gun earlier. Why did you show the gun if she wasn't going to use it? I don't know. But those are my spoiler thoughts. Let me know what your spoilerific thoughts are in the comments. Feel free to spoiler away. Talk to me about what you think about my thoughts, what you think about the movie overall. Like I mentioned, my full review that's covering more of my ideas of the film and so on and so forth are actually in the description of this video, and it's actually going to be right here as well. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Fuck that!